everybody, and welcome to the Employee Spotlight. In honor of Women's History Month, we wanted to make some time to talk to some of the phenomenal women who are part of our team here at CyberClan. This week, I'm very excited to introduce you all to a few of my colleagues who I work with every day and had the great pleasure of actually bringing on as part of the interview process. So really happy to have the three of you here today. Please help me in welcoming Gloria, Dana Hedges, and Meg Hasham to the Employee Spotlight. Welcome, ladies. As some of you might know, the theme for International Women's Day on March 8th was Choose to Challenge. And so as you each introduce yourself, if you could please start with your name, your role at CyberClan, how long you've been with the team, and I'd love to hear about what you choose to challenge or have chosen to challenge in your life and career as a woman. Not to put you on the spot, but Gloria, I'll start with you.
You always do. It's fine. I'm used to it. So I am a cyber risk analyst, I guess, in the CCRA risk management department. I do gap assessments, all of the things that most people don't really enjoy. So it's very mundane and tedious, I guess, to look through policies, but that's more of my forte for some reason. When did I start, right? I started in June of last year, so I'm coming up on 1 year here. And a challenge, choose to challenge as a woman. I think sometimes I have a tendency of trying to be one of the guys and kind of tough it out. And I think that I want to more so embrace just being a woman and being feminine and my own self. You know, you don't really have to conform to any sort of standard here because there kind of really isn't a standard at CyberClan. They're pretty diverse anyway. So, but yeah, I think I just kind of want to get away from feeling like I have to blend in general, even just as a woman. Like even if you're one of the only ones in your department or whatnot.
Absolutely.
I think I'll focus on that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great.
Being okay with it.
Awesome. So great to have you. Thank you for doing this. Dana, we'll go to you next.
Oh, well, yes. Hi, I'm Dana Hedges, and I joined CyberClan October of last year, actually the last day of October. So I'm kind of a newbie. And I am on the incident response. I'm a client success manager, and I do project management as a function. And some of the challenges, I guess, as a woman in this industry is being heard and listened to the first time. A lot of times when we try to articulate our knowledge, it's sort of like, oh, that was cute, or was that again, or you meant to say, and it's like, I think I articulated it very well. And I just think that there's still a male dominance that's surprised that we are as savvy or knowledgeable about, the organized, crime and cyber or any of our forte in our industry choices.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I appreciate you sharing that. So you started on Halloween. It's like just the other day. And so I remember the day you started. So glad to have you join us as well. And then, of course, that brings us up to Meg.
Yeah, so my name is Meg Hasham. I'm the HR Generalist here at CyberClan. I started in November of 2020. And I think like the one thing that I try to challenge is kind of like what Gloria said, that you can be feminine in the workplace and still be taken seriously. I think a lot of people at CyberClan know like my entire workstation is pink. And I think a lot of times people see like, oh, blonde hair, lots of pink stuff, super like girly and feminine, like, she don't take her as seriously as everyone else. And that's something I do try to challenge because, I do have like opinions and thoughts and ideas that I would like to have heard as well.
Absolutely. Yes, that's wonderful. And so I'll leave it with you, Meg. What brought you to the cybersecurity space, or what was your interest in cybersecurity?
Yeah, so I think my interest in cybersecurity is, first of all, it's a field that's growing very rapidly, especially right now since we are all working from home due to the quarantine. So cybercrime is also on the rise.
Yeah.
And I think it's just something that my background is pure HR. So I don't have a lot of experience with the cybersecurity sector on its own. And when I was given this opportunity, something that really excited me was the chance to work in an industry that I had never really dealt with before.
Mm-hmm.
And joining CyberClan, like I was, learning stuff. Was like, oh, you know what, I'm going to try and at least like pick up on some of the stuff they talk about, like take like an intro to like a Linux class, etc. So I can get myself better acquainted with it and, be able to understand better. And I think that's like a cool opportunity that CyberClan has brought me.
Awesome. Do you feel that being in the HR space within cybersecurity is a lot different from other experiences, or kind of?
I think yes, because in other experiences, you don't have the same thing as aliases, and there's a lot more confidentiality that you deal with, as opposed to previously I worked in the entertainment industry, and people did use stage names, but that's a lot different than an alias that you're using because you're dealing with criminals. So that is definitely one big thing that has changed a lot, is the degree of confidentiality that you have to use in the HR field as opposed to other industries. And then the other thing is CyberClan is 100% remote. So in the onboarding process, it's very different from when you're in person, giving someone a tour of a building, getting them acquainted with, this is where you sit, this is where you eat, etc. And when we do our like orientations, it's more focused on how we provide that same degree of culture while being entirely online.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's one thing that really actually attracted me to CyberClan, is that we're a remote first company, right? Before the pandemic and before it sort of just became an obligation. It's something that we've been doing, and it is very interesting to build a culture in a fully remote area. So with that said, Dana, where did you come from before CyberClan? Are you from the cybersecurity space already? Is this your first experience? And how has it been for you so far?
Well, yes, this is my first experience in the cyber world, cybersecurity. I have a background mainly as a business analyst and working in finance and mortgage securities. I've been on the client side, helping to build and develop processes for clients through technology. So I have had my hands in the technical field. However, now that I'm across the bridge, I wanted to learn a little bit more about how, we protect our clients. Now I'm working, like Meg was saying, in the cyber, where there's criminals, and I'm protecting the client instead of developing the client, environment. I'm rescuing, helping to facilitate the rescue. And it's a different, it's a different side of the coin, and it's a different relationship, but especially to see, clients come in who have built such great empires, at our need, on their knees, begging us to help rescue them.
Yeah, it's a really exciting space for sure. And I think, well, out of all of us, Gloria, you actually have an educational background in cyber. So has this been your passion for many years? Or tell us a little bit about how you got into the field and what brought you to CyberClan.
That's funny that you say that. I think it's encouraging that there's so many other people that weren't cyber like tech whizzes, because I have a background in cyber from college, but I'm artistically inclined. Like, I wasn't in the basement in middle school building machines as a kid. I wasn't like a child prodigy when it comes to being tech savvy or building scripts or anything like that. So maybe that's also why I found a niche in policy development, things like that, because I'm more like analytical. But I had such a curiosity about technology and cyber crime and everything that I was just like, well, I'm not going to go to school for art. I can already draw. I'm not going to waste my money. And so I wanted to go for something that was challenging. And that was definitely cybersecurity, because part of it was on campus and then the other part was online. So it was like completely new at this. Everyone around me was like a veteran, probably male, already 20 years in the industry. So I was like, well, this is intimidating. But with a little study and hard work and asking a bunch of stupid questions along the way.
Hey, no questions are stupid.
Exactly. You just pick it up and you learn and you keep growing, and I'm still developing my skills. So yeah, I just went with it. It's an interesting field and it never gets boring. You're always learning something
That's
new.
true.
Yeah.
To answer the question.
But what I will say, which is super unique, I think, about you and that I'll share, is that we met at a previous employer, and you were in HR in cybersecurity for a while. So it was sort of like the reverse. You kind of were learning the HR steps, but also playing a dual role. Yeah, and it's and you know, still always kind of peek in when you have a moment to help, and really appreciate that. I guess my question for you, a sort of follow up, is: did you find it hard or challenging being a female in this industry to sort of finally get your hands on with what you studied and wanted to you know, what your passion really was, which was cyber and not HR, unfortunately? But did you? What are some of the challenges that you faced or still facing, you think?
Yeah, I mean, when I first started making an internship, the first one, it was just, I was the only woman. And I think the second time around my internship, I was still the only woman, and I was also pregnant. So I was like, can't relate. But yeah, I found it challenging just because I was new. And I mean, I feel like I look 12 years old also. And I'm just, all of the things that I really, nobody took me seriously, but I just didn't really care at a certain point. Like, that was a challenge for me, to stop caring if people took me seriously or not, because your proof is in the work you put out. So if you keep putting out good work, then I think you're on the right track.
Exactly. And so, and this question sort of just goes to all three of you. Feel free to jump in, but what's been your most interesting, or I guess unique experience at CyberClan thus far? Dana, I'm
we all look around.
Finding your place, just finding that comfortable space, but realizing that every space is going to be uncomfortable because it's an ever-changing environment, but always staying centered in the policy, not the policy, but basically what I say, like the company's mantra is basically family, you know, and knowing that everyone is there to support you, and that you're not alone. And that comes because there's always, you know, it's like 911. We're in a call center, and you never know what you're going to get. And you might have every script, every document ready before you're ready to take on the world. And as soon as it comes in, it's nothing that you ever experienced before. And so you have to kind of like, you know, dig in and try to figure out, you know, what's the next step and how to, you know, manage.
Sure. So I guess with that said, what are the set of skills that you have brought from your past life or past careers that have been really helpful for you in this position? What would be the most important, you know, skill set that you think you'd need to continue to thrive and be successful here?
Communication,
yeah.
and politeness, manners. You know, there's a phrase that's used in one of the famous fast food restaurants that, you know, whenever they serve you, they say, "My pleasure." And that's something that, you know, when working with the clients here, as well as your team members, having that mindset of gratitude and servitude, not feeling like I'm the one in charge and I'm the one with all the knowledge, but coming to everyone with, you know, how can I help and how can I serve? And I think that, you know, the way you communicate, because this is, you know, basically someone's calling a 911, you know, they're desperate. They might be the CEO and, you know, have 50 degrees, but when they make that phone call, they're a child, you know, looking for help. And you're there to, I mean, there's some of them are very distraught, you know, and they're trying to be as professional as possible, but they're about to, you know, something's broken, you know, all their technology is just not working. So we have to find the right people to get in there to fix it, but we have to also have the right temperament and the right cadence, and to build that relationship or to secure it so that they understand that we got them.
Sure. And same question for you, Meg, but so, and you talked about it earlier, this being sort of the first time you've worked at a fully remote company. So what are some of the skills that you bring, or the skill set that you sort of bring to the table to add, you know, levity and have that connection, that human connection that we so inspire to have here as a virtual company?
Yeah, so I think, like I said, this is my first time working fully remote. And so a skill set that I have had for a long time is having really good people skills. And like in all of my roles in HR, you know, that's like the big thing you have to have is people skills, being personable, being friendly, you know, being that first face people see when they walk into the HR department. And so I think being able to transfer that to being in the, I guess, like virtual realm. So making, you know, being communicative, like Dana said, communication is like major. And then also, I think the other thing is that I've always, no matter what my job is, even in high school, I've always been like a planner and like ooh, like let's make this a fun thing. So I think one like skill that I've really brought is like when our happy hours coming up with themes, games, etc.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. Trying to make things like a little more fun, even though we're all like sitting at our desks inside our, you know, four walls that we spend all day in. So being able to just like bring that extra like punch of fun is something that I found to be really useful at CyberClan to bring, I guess like, yeah, like brevity to the whole thing. So just like a little bit more fun.
Exactly. Oh, that's great. Yes, we have lots of fun in those happy hours. We played categories, Pictionary, trivia. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And I'm not going to assume, I'll speak to my own situation. I'm a mother. I've had children. I've had 3 children throughout my career, had to have gone on maternity leave, had to work in one case up to 9 months pregnant in a different situation. And I'm wondering if you're willing to share, those of you who have children on this call or on this meeting, what, if anything, was that experience like being pregnant and having to still work and keep up and work in an office that's sometimes dominated by the opposite sex?
I can probably speak for that. You know from past experience seeing me. I mean, I've had to like bring my kid into work sometimes. I remember she fell asleep on a filing cabinet that I laid a blanket on because I had to bring her to work that day. She was getting fussy and she was gonna take a nap. She was gonna take a nap there. I still got my work done, like constantly like, okay, don't sing your ABCs while I'm on this call for a minute. Right. But like keeping them entertained, yeah, that's a tough one. Even being pregnant at work was tough. Because you like, I mean, me personally, I like to do everything myself and like I don't like people helping me. They're like, don't lift that, and I'm like, but be sure you got this. And I'm like, thanks for helping, but I've got it. They already think I'm incapable, or I have that feeling I'm incapable because I'm a woman, and then like now I just feel extra incapable. So I had to push through those feelings.
Yeah, I do remember those days as well. And you know, I think it's remarkable how things have changed. I'm not going to date myself, but I know now with so many companies now having so many resources for expectant mothers, that I hope the situations have become a lot more feasible and comfortable. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. I think one of the most interesting things about these employee spotlights is getting to know a little more about each other. So just do a quick round robin. Want to hear about some of the things that you guys like to do in your spare time, when I know as much as you love being on with us at CyberClan all day, there are some things that you do outside of that. So Dana, what are some of the things that you like to do when you're not CyberClanning?
Well, I used to love swimming and working out, roller skating, but with COVID, I've had to get a lot more creative. And so I've created environments within my home for, you know, working out and things of that nature. But I do miss swimming, and hopefully I'll be able to do that soon since the weather is getting better.
Yes. What about did you pick up any new hobbies or during quarantine or the shutdown that that you'd like to share with us?
New hobbies? I've been really focusing on my cyber world and trying to put my mind around it, but personally, I don't think so.
How about you, Meg?
Yeah, so pre-COVID, I also was like very into working out, and I did like to swim in the mornings. I especially like Pilates and bar class. And you know, I'm in my like early mid 20s, so I was going out. I was out on the town a lot. And since everything shut down, I do a lot of at-home workouts, which I'm not too happy about, but I'm doing them. And I've taken up like home gardening. So right now I'm growing a lot of stuff. It's all my parents own a farm, so it's all going to go get planted down there. But right now I think I have a couple like different types of mushrooms growing, so different types of flowers, radishes, carrots, cherry tomatoes. So I have that all going, and then just houseplants in general. So I've gotten into that, and then to keep my brain fresh, since like, you know, I'm getting very bored. Like I said, I took a mini course on Linux, and I'm trying to teach myself more Japanese. So I have the alphabets down. I'm onto grammar. Nice. And then my like biggest hobby I've picked up during COVID, is that I've watched every Real Housewives franchise now. So I am a scholar when it comes to Bravo TV now. So
very nice. I think that needs to be one of our virtual happy hour themes. Thank you. We can have a whole session. Oh man. Gloria, how about you? Any what do you like to do in your spare time? Any new skills or hobbies picked up during this crazy time?
I try to include my daughter in a lot of things I do, because like she can't even play with kids right now, so that's really super sad. So the other day I plugged in the guitar and just started playing. She would sing randomly, so I think I'm playing jam bands with my kids. Kind of fun these days.
Oh, I love it.
To like yell and let loose.
Nice.
And it's fun.
And I know you said you enjoy art, and I have you been able to do any new pieces? Are you working on any art lately, or just, well, music is art, so
yeah. Not lately. I haven't really had a chance to do like visual art, but that's because when I was saying like I was doing art before, I used to do tattooing, so like that was such a huge transition. I haven't had a chance to do that because of this whole crazy situation in the world. Yeah, that was something I was like thinking about the other day.
Nice. Well, maybe when Gloria gets back into tattooing, we can all get like CyberClan. I don't know. Maybe I'm going to
forever branded. That's like getting your boyfriend's name tattooed on you.
That's it. Where do you go after that?
How many times have I seen someone get the other person's name and then like their back?
Butterfly will do.
Hilarious.
Those are always safe. Butterflies and flowers. I think we're good.
Yeah. Representative of we'll get like women power tattoos.
Absolutely, and that's always the way to go. Like, we are strong and we're capable. I think one thing I'm really proud of, you know, I've been with the company when there was maybe 40 or less employees, and how we've grown. You know, the industry standard of women in cyber is about 24%, and we surpassed that. I'm really proud to be a part of a company that recognizes the strength of women and you know, really focuses on diversity. And thanks to you guys on this call for helping be a part of that, and I'm really excited to continue to work with you all. I think one thing I want to talk about or get from you before we leave is piece of advice that you would give to a young woman or anyone looking to break into the cybersecurity space, or tips that you would give them if they're just starting. I'll start with you, Gloria.
Well, I would say it will be some days will be tougher than others. Like you'll get something and then immediately after something else will stump you and be like, I don't even understand this as a whole. But what is that phrase? Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Is that appropriate with this? You just have to like keep learning and getting through those roadblocks. Like if I can do this, anyone can. If you have no cyber background, don't let that stop you.
Absolutely, I'd have to agree with that. Dana?
I would say if you're a why person, you'll make it in this industry because there's so much to learn, there's so much to find out, and you have to keep up with all the trends. So if you can ask that question, why, everything else will fall into place as far as how it's done, when it's done, and where. But you have to be very nosy. It's like, you know, a detective kind of scenario. And if that is something that comes natural to you, you'll do very well in, I say any industry, but in a cybersecurity industry, because it's a lot of investigative insight and being able to articulate what you found. And it's like a discovery thing. And so I'd encourage anyone to get into this field because there's other facets of it. HR, risk management. I do project management. That's not all techie guys sitting behind 5 screens trying to monitor something and looking like they're in cyberspace. Right. But it's a lot of other functions that you can be very successful in this industry.
Yeah, I agree. Awesome. And Meg, I think maybe some of those housewife skills can actually translate into making it in this industry.
I was gonna say, like, the big thing I think starting off anywhere is like, I think as women, sometimes the feedback we get just like isn't as verbose or helpful as it would be for a man. I don't know why. I mean, I do know why, but like, you know, sometimes the feedback you get as a woman from your manager just like isn't great, or you just like don't feel good about it and just like don't internalize it, roll with the punches, like take that yes and approach to life. Especially in cyber where like a lot of the time, like everyone is behind a computer screen. So like, you know, things don't always translate how they would face to face. So just keep on, like Gloria said, just like keep on pushing. Like one bad day doesn't mean like the whole thing is over for you.
Absolutely. Well, that's great advice from the 3 of you. And I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me about your experiences, share some tips and some insight, and, you know, really, really enjoy working with you all. So thank you so much for your time, and looking forward to the next several years, and we get our tattoos, say cyber and clan on either side.
Reunion show.
Exactly. And the 4 of us were actually in close vicinity of each other. So I hopefully when things open up, we can go have some lunch in DC.
That'd be very nice.
Anything.
It's a pleasure, ladies.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Natlee.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.